Alright, so it's been a little while, but let's get back to some Reddit horror stories. And this time we're going to start off with steroid horror stories. So for any of you who've ever pumped or been at the gym, I've wanted to try steroids so many times, and I have looked online for stories multiple times. And these are, anyway, I came across this, are steroids. And some of these I've read, and some of them I haven't, so let's fucking go through some of these here. Let's get into the horror stories in here. Some things go horribly wrong. We didn't plan for something. Tell us your experience with the worst cycle to help others learn from your mistakes. 500 milligrams. Okay, so this guy, fake natty. 500 milligrams test, 900 milligrams EQ. Didn't know how much of a handful EQ could be. Totally tanked my E2. Didn't know it was an AI, aroma inhibitor, so I thought I might be aromatizing more than usually. Upped the AI and the rest was history. Dick didn't work for like 2 months. Acne all over the place. Insane anxiety and weird thoughts over and over. Terrible. Felt like benzo WD the whole time. Damn. That was from fun. These are like all from 5 years ago. See, low was 0.8. Everything like it was my first meal. Okay, so this guy had a pretty good experience here. High reps. That's with very little rest between. I had visible arm veins through thick, long sleeve t-shirts. Oh, forgot to mention, I saw, I think Derek from More Plates, More Dates was reading a few of these one time. He's got a cool YouTube channel, and the guy's jacked out of his mind and super educated on this stuff. So I started watching him, and he was doing a few of these. So, yeah, inspired me to read some out because these stories get fucking crazy. Yeah, let's just see here. What do we got? Kitty liquor. Took Superdrol twice, once at 19 and the second time around 20 to 21, which I don't believe I did a PCT for. Ended up causing my hair to start falling out. PCT, okay, yeah, so I mean, I'm not an expert here by any means, but I know that after you do a cycle, you're supposed to do some sort of PCT as like a post-cycle treatment, and it just helps get your like hormones back in natural balance. It helps your system readjust to getting off the steroids. Ended up causing my hair to start falling out fast and skin problems, which led to a spiral of depression and anxiety, which I eventually started self-medicating with OxyContin, which eventually led to IV heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine addiction that took nearly 10 years for me to get sober from. So it was a Superdrol cycle that led me to ruin the next 10 years of my life. 2 years clean now from illicit drugs and alcohol. Alright, sorry about that. Got cut off there for a second. I did add about 100 pounds to my bench with the first Superdrol cycle. Went from a 1 rep max of 265 to doing 8 reps of 315 easy. Holy shit, 1 rep max of 365 or 385. But within a couple years I had stopped working out completely as my anxiety was so bad. I only left the house to go to work. Oh, and I bought the Superdrol from eBay. Crazy times. And my addiction eventually made me lose everything. Multiple car wrecks, multiple arrests, jail, rehab, bankruptcy, lost a great job making $75K a year. Unfortunately, 19 and 20-year-olds know everything and nobody could tell me otherwise. Excuse me. That one's harsh. That's fuck, that's brutal. We have a winner, yeah, I'd say. Let's see. Oh man, I've been there. It didn't start. Bonduful 500 milligram heroin cycle. Oh man, I have been there. It didn't start with steroids induced problems, but a random breakout. Felt bad about it. Workouts became less intense, less frequent. General anxiety, opiate/heroin abuse on the weekend to release some steam. Wow. Made the situation worse, obviously, etc., etc. Image problem and drugs don't mix very well. Broke the cycle with Accutane, godsend, hair transplant later on. Oof. Yeah, that's fucking life-changing, man. People are losing their hair, and anxiety seems to be like... everyone's fucking getting anxiety from this shit. Let's see. Okay, this guy, Chet Cheddarsworth. Holy fuck. I ran Superdrol a year and a half ago, and when I came off it, my hormones were all over the place. Broke out, depression and anxiety came on hard. Relapsed on opiates and have been struggling ever since. I never blamed it on the Superdrol, but always looked at it as the timestamp for when things got rough for me again. Congratulations on being clean from that shit, bro. Man, what the fuck is Superdrol? 1200 milligram Tren E. Thought I was gonna die. Gotta find another, a longer post here. Fucking Tren, man. My first cycle was a low Tren / test administered by a dude with experience. It was great. 10 years later, I decided to run one on my own. Cannot remember the ester, but it was higher than E to the effect of W, to which I didn't adjust the dosage. Had heartburn to the point where I couldn't breathe comfortably. 2 episodes of Tren cough, and my cholesterol labs would signify that I lived at McDonald's. Broke my finger and partially tore an ACL playing football halfway through, kept up my workouts, which led to shitty lifts and more injuries. Finished the cycle with 0 knowledge on PCT. Ooh, fuck. Self-medicated my own depression, which led to marital issues. Lost most of my gains, the list goes on. Eye-opening experience though. I benched 455, weighing 175, and learned how to read about the shit I was putting into my body. Man, that is fucking mind-blowing. And a lot of these guys end up with marital or relationship issues. It's pretty much a fucking common, it's a given with this stuff, especially the Tren. Imagine people hitting 1200 milligrams of Tren as a first cycle. Yeah, okay, so for those of you that don't know, Tren is apparently super aggressive. It's also one of the most effective, but Tren is like the holy grail, I guess. If you're gonna do roids, it's like you do Tren. But also fucking makes you crazy and like gives people crazy side effects. A lot of the time, I don't know if people, like, obviously there's some people here that have good experiences. Tren E over 600 a week is absolutely mental disaster. When I did 800 milligrams, I was waking up checking the house with a gun. 350 milligrams and I'm breaking up with my girlfriend spontaneously, getting super agitated over nothing. Second time I ran Tren, RN right now, and will definitely limit its use in the future. Excuse me, I don't know all the acronyms too, because I am kind of old here now. I just had my 34th birthday. I think it changes me even more than I noticed too. My girlfriend will be venting about her mom having cancer, and I'll literally feel zero empathy. Very numb feeling. That's fucking sketchy. Let's see, what else do we got here? Not gonna lie, the size, aesthetics, and power I gained over this cycle were mesmerizing. I was a total scrub at the time, so I didn't think I could even duplicate the results now that I'm stronger. The noob first cycle gains were too real, but man, I'd run DMZ the right way just for some nostalgia. Fuck, I also just remembered how much it hurt wearing armor over my tits all day. Barely any visible gyno, but goddamn it hurt. Sensitive titties from this stuff. Literally every time I take Tren, I get borderline suicidal, paranoid, and other mental sides, but only after the first 4 to 6 weeks it seems. The first 4 weeks feels great, to be honest, then shit hits the fan. Honestly, it's not worth it. I did Anavar 70 milligrams a day with TRT dosage of test and got similar results as Tren 350 milligrams was providing, just not as quick as Tren. Wow, that's significantly less gear or product to get. And with TRT dosage test, I don't know what it, I think, because that doesn't make much sense, because everybody's TRT dosage would be different. I don't know what a regular TRT dosage would be. I'm assuming it's not like testosterone replacement therapy dose, but it's probably not that high. It's just trying to boost your levels. They're not trying to make you like He-Man with that stuff. Did a janky run of Deca. I've heard bad things about Deca. I've heard that this will give you acne and fuck you up really bad. It's like, I thought it was almost like an older school. No, that's Debo. Fuck, never mind. Did a janky run of Deca that my dad homebrewed. Holy fuck. I got intermittent shakes once in a while and a super general malaise, fatigue, etc. Asked my dad about it and he got super mad. But way later he told me that the chemicals had some water damage in the packet, but he only used the side that wasn't soggy or hard. Jesus, what a dad. Okay, thanks, Dad. That was a good eighth of being 22 flushed down the toilet. Fuck. My very first cycle was advised by my drug dealer and Mr. Minnesota at the time. 500 tests, 500 tren, HGH, human growth hormone. No No AI, no anti-inhibitor, aroma inhibitor. There, fucking Christ. No aroma inhibitor, no CABR or PRAMI, no SERM, no PCT. Alright, so post-cycle therapy. We were also heroin addicts. Okay, this is probably going to be the winner for this video here. And it's deleted too, so we don't know who. We were also heroin addicts, popping Xanax, doing coke, etc. We would literally shoot up and then try and hit the gym. I did not even have my own legitimate gym membership and had zero idea about a diet. I was young and luckily never got gyno or fucked up anything else. Not sure if that was directly related to my need for TRT later on in life or if I had already had low tests. Obviously no pre, intra, or post-cycle bloods were taken to confirm. Excuse me. Honestly looking pretty damn good. Nowhere near where I am now, but considering the circumstances, it could have been worse. I don't really remember my mental state during the course of this because I was so doped up. I remember being depressed as fuck and completely fatigued all day for obvious reasons. I've been clean for over 4 years now, and the gym is probably the sole thing that saved me. Embarrassing even admitting this. I was in a bad place, trusted the wrong people. Luckily nothing dramatic happened other than a valuable life lesson. Yeah, that is fucking lucky, because some of these guys are like getting divorced and like having suicidal thoughts. Alright, Little Willie 347. 700 tren, 1 gram test, 500 mastodone. Had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Ended up with nipple discharge and worsened my puberty gyno by a lot. So this guy was doing this in fucking puberty. Bloated, angry, irrational all the time. This was when I was 23 too, by the way. Ended up with, what? Worsened my puberty gyno? Okay, so he had gyno from puberty and he was 23 at this point. Since I had gyno removed and I only use low doses on blast and no more tren or orals. Actually haven't blasted in like 3 years, and I've been on 140 milligrams of test per week all this time, and currently looking better than I ever did before. I'm 29 now. Nice. Alright. My first ever cycle, I did all my research and thought I had everything locked down. I had Aromacin and Novadex on hand and all my PCT stuff lined up. Within a few days of my first pin, I was taking tests, prop 400 milligrams weekly. I started having extreme nipple irritation. No lump had formed yet, so I started taking 12.5 milligrams of Aromacin EOD. This is when I learned that I aromatize at an inhuman rate because this barely slowed the gyno down, and I got bad body acne and bloat. After 10 days of the gyno just getting worse, a lump now had formed. I started 20 milligrams of Novadex a day, and this slowed it down but didn't stop its progression entirely or reverse it. At this point, I was questioning whether my stuff was real, so I ordered letrozole and Novadex from a more trusted source. I didn't get these until 3 weeks into my cycle, and now I had hard lumps and a little bit of breast tissue, and I looked like a bloated fat ass. I didn't want to simply end the cycle because I was confident in my PCT vendor anymore, and becoming off without proper SERMs was only going to make the problem worse. Since I got the letrozole, I started it at 1.25 milligrams EOD with 20 milligrams of Novadex, and this halted the progression, but I still had some high E2 symptoms like extra water and blood pressure. This shocked me because that amount of letrozole should have knocked my estro into the dirt every cycle. Every cycle since that amount is my standard AI dose, and it's the only thing that works. I really wanted to reverse as much of the gyno as I could since it was still less than a month old, so I bumped it up to 2.5 milligrams of letrozole a day with 40 milligrams of Novadex. That amount was successful, and I reversed the gyno to a point where it was almost back to normal, and then I prepared to come off and PCT. Problem was, I overcompensated and I crashed my E2 into the fucking dirt. For context, I'm bipolar and prone to extreme and prolonged depressive episodes with no rhyme or reason. Low E2 sent me into one of those episodes, and I got in my car one night after rigging up a hose from my tailpipe to my cabin and sealed it up with the tape and waited for the CO2 to put me to sleep and never wake up. I was pulled out of the car shortly before I passed out and taken to the hospital, where they had me committed the next day. I had taken my last injection the day before, and I was forced to drop my AI and Nova with no taper at all, and I was stuck in that place for more than a week. My gyno rebounded with a vengeance. My family was judging me, and I spent the next few months enduring constant pity and getting checked up on by people who never cared before I tried to kill myself. I got my life sorted and eventually got my gyno back down to a level I could live with, but that cycle was a hellish experience for sure. My results from the cycle were great. Subtracting the water weight, I gained about 15 pounds in 10 weeks and leaned out very noticeably. This was ruined, however, by the depressive episode, and I didn't lift for 3 months after that, and I lost it all. Jesus. Was just a fat ass okay. Forever small. Was just a fat ass lifting on and off for about 1 to 2 years and thought I'm ready to cycle. First cycle was oral only, took Winstrol, brutal, altogether for about 4 to 5 weeks, and was angry that it didn't look like a Greek god by then. Thought my Winstrol was bunk because that's basically the only logical reason why I didn't look like Arnold by 5 weeks lifting on Winnie. Or maybe it was because I had about 25 to 30% body fat and my diet consisted to 90% of Subway, Burger King, and McDonald's. Upping the dose to max 200 milligrams Winstrol didn't do much either. Imagine such a disgusting fat ass on Winstrol only taking up to 200 milligram Winstrol and being angry after a few weeks lifting. He isn't shredded. So the next only reasonable step was to order some Superdrol. Was taking it straight after Winnie for another 8 weeks or something with a maximum dose of up to 50 milligrams. I ate even more because I legitimately thought I'm missing gains. This was also the time I was kicked out from a Chinese all-you-can-eat because I ate them poor. I was there every day eating for 1 to 2 hours right after the gym. Jesus, bro. I must have eaten about 7,000 calories per day or something like that. I was so fucking fat. I felt like total shit, but somehow my ego was completely pumped up, and I thought I was buffed up when my shirts didn't fit anymore. Oh, damn. It happens to the best of us. Oh, and during the whole thing, I never took any liver protection and was completely hammered 1 to 3 days per week, and I thought I didn't need PCT because it's just orals. Glad I didn't damage anything. Man, looking back, I was retarded. Maybe I still am, but this still... Yeah, you don't know if you damaged something. That's the thing about that one. You probably, you might have damaged something there. Definitely with the being hammered. No liver protection's a bit rough. Yikes, tweez, bruh, iron tits. Yikes, I'm expecting a whole lot of shit for telling this one, but oh well. I ran 2 orals before I started pinning, probably my worst cycle ever, 40 milligram T-ball and 40 milligram Epistan every day for 4 to 6 weeks. I don't remember precisely since it was years ago. After the second week, the suppression hit hard. Dick obviously stopped working and had absolutely no interest in sex anymore. Tired all the time, had to take several naps during the day, used to wake up 30 minutes later because I was drenched in sweat, slapped myself in the mirror before dragging myself to the gym. Cramps literally everywhere, fingers, toes, my jaw, once, you name it. Lost my appetite for roughly 5 days, went from eating roughly 3,500 to 4,000 calories to probably 1 to 2,000 calories. Didn't even run a liver or kidney support and didn't get blood work. Fuck me, big mistake, miserable cycle. Always run tests. Fucking for sure. When I first got on TRT, I didn't know my syringes were retractable, so I'm injecting my upper outer quad, and as I'm pushing less than half cc remaining, I hear a crazy noise. I pull out syringe and needle is gone. My doctor for some reason tells my pharmacy to give me 22 gauge 1.5 inch syringes. I can't get my doctor or the pharmacist to sell me something smaller. Oh, brutal, that's gross. I live in a state where you can just walk in and buy syringes, but he's so afraid I'm gonna go against the doctor's order, so he refuses to sell me smaller gauges. Whatever, I don't mind moving along. Obviously my heart drops and I think I have an 1.5 inch fucking needle in my quad. I race to the ER and make sure I bring the syringe with me. I explain everything. I show my prescriptions and the syringe they order, x-rays. Nothing there. I said, how? I literally checked all over my floor. It's not there. It has to be in my thigh. The doctor nervously walks out. A few seconds later the nurse walks in. She wasn't my nurse. I hadn't seen her the whole time I've been there. Anyways, she asks to see the syringe and then starts laughing and loudly screams, I knew it! Next thing you know, 3 or 4 of the ER employees are next to my bed with this nurse as she explains that it's a retractable syringe and the needle is right there. It's just sucked up like a vacuum. I was so relieved but so embarrassed. That's my embarrassment story. I got one from my boy. Long story short, he poked himself in his ass and whatever it was that he hit, he said the pain was so unbearable he passed out, woke up 25 minutes later with syringe still in ass and pants off, way down face first on his kitchen floor. Of course he continued to inject, then pulled out and wiped said spot with alcohol pads. That's a wild one. My pharmacist doesn't believe the story. He says, dude, there's nothing back there that would cause pain that unbearable that you would pass out, but I know for sure it's the truth. This is my childhood best friend. Isn't your sciatic nerve back there or something? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Okay. That's probably going to be it for now. I don't know if I'll come on later and read some more, but if you're driving or if you're just hanging out in your house or if you're just looking for someone to read you some stories, you're in the right spot. Thanks for watching.